See, I have it all down pat. This is
Okay.
what happens when you've been casting for a long time, right?
All right.
It's going to be, if they draft in order, which I don't think there's any need to do because they saw everything, right? I think Kiwi does the Aatrox, corrects with the Jarvan, Epistemology on the Nico, Iron Nitrogen, and DLE on the Zaya Rakan.
That's right.
On the opposite side, it's the Scion into the support, not support, what am I saying? Sorry, the jungle. Oof.
The dual lane. The Yuumi and the Sivir.
Yeah, the Yuumi and the Sivir, but I can't remember the jungle. Oh, this
Gragas.
is
Ah,
yes, the Gragas, because
okay.
the last pick, right?
That's right.
Wait.
Oh.
Oh, hold
That's
on,
not a
Varus.
Sivir.
That is, yeah, what is,
Yeah, well,
guys?
we're doing this again.
You can't do that.
Third time's the charm, maybe?
I guess so.
All right. Well,
I am going to have to figure out what's going on right now because I'm literally staring at my guys at production like, trying to figure out what's going on.
well,
Gonna remake and go through picks and bans once more. Third
That's
time's
right.
the charm, guys.
All
Come
right,
on,
all
cross
right,
your
all
fingers.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go through all those all over again. They're gonna ban Yasuo, right?
This looks really silly because it's like us on screen,
Yeah.
and we're looking at picks and bans. Everyone's like, "What's going on?"
commentate the picks and backs. Go play. Go.
Right. And
No,
they're
he needs
gonna
to
ban
save his voice. I'm gonna like. no,
Oh, okay.
Cannot.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
This is
All right.
this cannot be allowed.
Okay. And they're just gonna be repicking.
All
as
right.
usual, yep.
Okay, swapped over. So it makes a little more sense now. It's not like we're talking to a screen.
All right.
Not sure if it's gonna be a Sivir or a Varus. According to the rules, it should be a Sivir because
Sivir,
that's
yeah.
what they locked in
Yep.
during the pick and ban. But I don't know, man. At this
Well,
point,
there
yep,
we go.
okay,
It's Sivir. Yeah. Yeah, everything looks to be going normally now.
Please don't mess it up. Come on, guys. You can do it.
Right. Hopefully we get through this real quick. 3-minute delay is still on, of course, guys. To remind you, we are on 9.15, the
That's right.
live server. So the 3-minute delay, not that we're saying the players don't have integrity, it's to prevent any sort of unfair advantage that might be garnered. Maybe the earphone slip off or
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or just casually turn back and
yeah,
look at the
occasionally
screen,
just
you
like
know?
looking back, you know. This kind of things happen
okay,
sometimes.
That's right. Champion select, moving on to the second ban phase. Everything looks okay so far.
That's
It's not.
that didn't happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's a ban, not a
It's a
pick.
ban.
Yeah, the ban is
Everything should be going okay, right?
yeah. As
Yeah.
long as the picks are the same, I think we have no issue. But what I'm curious about is whether the last is going to be a Gragas, because the moment they lock the Gragas in, right, they DC it. So I think for the most part, it should be the Gragas still.
That's right. Yep.
I like the Gragas. I think the Gragas into TP's composition is actually pretty good. So I don't know why they would change it to something else unless maybe Ice Destiny doesn't want to play Gragas, not comfortable on champion maybe.
All right, okay. So hovering and insta-lock. All right.
There we go.
Finally, we move through this pick and ban phase without any delay.
No
I feel I'm
more
going to jinx it, lah, so I'm just
Oh,
going to take that back.
All right. We'll see. We'll see.
Little awkward, but
I mean,
still
we
getting
more or
into
less
it.
went through the compositions, and
Yep.
I feel like we were talking more about getting Kiwi 1, 2, 3 ahead. The top side, Yon is extremely adept at carrying games by himself. Meanwhile, on the other side, SP, Sivir's the win condition? Was that what we agreed upon? The idea of having to get her to the late game and snowballing. And then they have double AD carries, which
Yeah.
works out great.
I think Sivir and Corki can both be win conditions. They both deal a tremendous amount of damage in the late game. Of course, Corki, I think, hits those breakpoints at a earlier time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, you do hit like a every item is sort of like a big power spike for Corki because you do Triforce into Short Boots, into like IE,
Yeah, all the
FADH, or like Rapid Fire
fire.
Cannon, right?
Yeah, that's
But then
right.
for Sivir, you kind of have to wait for 2 items to get going, which is a bit more of a slow rise in tempo.
And of course, when you have the Corki in your game, you really have to take note that that package can be very, very impactful across the map. Like, if Sivir and Yuumi decide to go for a fight, Corki can be there very quickly.
Yeah, not just that, but Sion with the Unstoppable Onslaught
yeah,
so
that's
allows
right.
him to like cross the map at breakneck speeds, right? So there's that potential to be globally present in SP's composition, albeit it comes down to execution. It's a bit tricky, but
Yeah, that's right.
there is still that possibility. I like that Chiffon isn't being too careful with his summoner spells. My AD carry is going to teleport. I will do heal and ignite because I want to kill the opponent. That's how I play support.
I mean, that's a typical Yuumi
Yeah,
build.
that is
Yeah,
a
pretty
typical
much.
Yuumi pickup, right? I have seen certain options where Sivir goes flash heal and then Yuumi does ignite exhaust. That is like the really I want to all in
Oh
you
yeah,
kind
that's
of
right.
pickup, right? That's the one that allows you to play a bit more aggressively because you have 3 combat summoner spells.
Yeah, but I think in this case, they just want as many teleports as possible, so definitely going to load that one on Sivir because we see Zaya taking the teleport as well for that global pressure.
The trend has been, at least in the past game, from what we've seen, multiple teleports to respawn to global pressure, and I think this case TP's one is rightfully so, whereas SP just wants the ability to make the counter map plays.
I think one thing we have to take note of though is again the jungle matchup, because like you said, it's very important matchup in this game. I think since both junglers are actually shot caller for their team, they really want to go in and try to get those lanes ahead with multiple ganks.
Yeah, both shot callers, both captains, and both the ones to make the first early movements around the map. Earlier we were talking about how Ice Destiny is a bit of an emotional player, right?
Okay.
We had this conversation, and after losing game 1, maybe he did have some time to cool down.
That's right.
I think all eyes are on the jungler for SP right now if he can call the shots and make the right plays, because on the previous game, I'm not gonna blame him all too much, but kind of have to attribute it a bit more to his failure to hit those glacial prisons around the Baron Pit that cost them a lot of tempo. This time, if he fails to make the early game plays, if he fails to be at the right time in the right place, I think SP might just be looking at an early evening, going for an early dinner in fact.
I mean, in the previous game, he was throwing glacial prisons mostly at LeBlanc, so that's pretty hard of a target to hit. So on Gragas, I mean, I think landing the explosive cask is somewhat easier on these champions such as Aatrox and Nico. As long as he doesn't knock a Nico Pop Blossom straight into his team,
yeah,
then
that is a fuse bet.
yeah, then everything
right?
should be okay.
But we do have to remember that Ice Destiny was in fact in the right place at the right time a lot of the time in the previous game. Often going to mid lane when Krex is trying to look for a gank. So I think Ice Destiny into Krex right now is a bit of a coin toss. I'm going to give the advantage over to Krex just because on his Jarvan, I think it's slightly easier to get damage on the enemy.
There's an interesting interaction this time with Jarvan and Gragas. I think you can body slam Gragas out of the flag and drag, so that kind of makes it a bit more tricky for Krex if he wants to play a bit more aggressive. We saw that Jarvan being pretty impactful yesterday if you watched LCK. I think Tarzan on Griffin did a pretty good impact in terms of navigating the early game and making sure the pressure was felt on the map. And between these two junglers, that's a style I want to talk about, because Ice Destiny is the kind of player that wants to be at the right place at the right time, but he also looks to sort of neutralize the pressure. He likes to counter gank, whereas Krex, he doesn't care, man. He wants to make sure you feel pressured. He wants to make sure you feel threatened and you don't have a safe laning phase. And in this stylistic difference is where I think both teams will be finding a victory or loss.
Yep, that's right. And now we are on Summoner's Rift for round 2. Game 2 of TP versus SP. Once again, TP is 1 game up, so this is match point. SP, they really, to make it or break it, they really need to get this win in order to progress in the tournament.
Come on, go on, SP. Bring it home, boys.
No bias at all.
That's right. I am unbiased because I am from NYP, and there we go, the pause.
This is a minefield of technical issues today. You can see my tie is off because I'm ready to cast, but now
Alright.
we're back on me.
Well, that's a little awkward then.
Yeah. Put it back on quickly.
It's cool, guys. Actually, the camera's not supposed to be on us now.
Oh, yeah. Well, but it is, so that leaves us with even more time to
Yeah.
talk about things.
I think we have plenty of time to talk about things
That's
today.
right.
Yeah. I want to make a reference to how in the previous game, the tempo was a lot slower for like the first 8 minutes, right? Both teams were hesitant on trying to really make any overly aggressive move. Yes, Krex tried to hit mid, but it was like it was a calculated play. I think this time though, SP has more to lose, so they might be looking to play a bit more adventurous, if that's the best word, take a bit more risks to put themselves ahead.
Well, at this point, if you take a look at the minimap, right, they can't see it, but we can. It's actually a bit more of a standard start than what we saw last game. So I think what this means to me is that both teams actually want to play safer. They don't want to take any risks. If you're on TP, you're like, okay, we have a game extra. We just play this safe and we'll see where it goes. And if you're SP, you do not want to take that risk because if you screw it up, it could mean an early exit out of this tournament.
Right, so Chufan with the opposite opinion, that if you have a game to sort of play with, you can experiment a bit more with your draft. And I think this time TP might just be doing that because, like we noted early on, the composition is not something you see traditionally.
That's right, but I think that SPs is generally more traditional. We just got word that the sports computer has, well, boomed.
Yeah.
So it might be this pause for a while, but I think that SP's comp is more traditional because of that Corki that we've all mentioned. We've seen it so many times in all the different pro leagues, right? Corki and Azir, but in this case it's just Corki, but it's still more traditional, especially with the Gragas as well. But the Scion is something that we don't see all the time, so maybe that could be their pocket pick.
Right, and I was talking to a couple of, the analysts and pros from other regions, and they were saying how in top lane, there are a couple of picks you could do to sort of, how do I put it? Get a free lane, right? You
Okay.
do these early blind picks to ensure that your top laner absorbs a lot of pressure and doesn't, die unnecessarily. One of them that was listed was actually Sion because the others need a degree of skill to sort of navigate properly. I think Cannon and Nar were the other things that were mentioned. But on the red side, Sion is actually your best bet.
I mean, Sion is a little bit of a. I'm just gonna sit in lane and slowly farm up,
Yep.
and
Yep.
at some point you're not gonna do any damage to me. So I think when you say it's free, I think yeah, sure, maybe in the mid game, maybe in the late
In
game,
the looser sense.
in a looser sense, sure. But I think in the early game, if you give him that attention, you can actually find some kills.
Let's see whether Ice Destiny hits the top side as the support of Singapore Polytechnic is looking to reset his computer.
Mhm.
Second game of the series, it's been a relatively long lead up to the point where we actually start the game.
That's right, and we're still talking about it, talking about other stuff. I mean, so what pathing do you think the jungler should take? I mean, Ice Destiny on that Predator Gragas.
Right. I think when you play Predator Gragas or Predator junglers in general, you always want to clear one half of your map and then recall to get boots and then clear the second half and then make a gank happen with Predator Enchantment.
Okay.
That's the standard go-to, right? But Ice Destiny is known also for being a bit more eccentric, shall we say, in his pathing. On Silas, he does the no buff start, which is not something I'm a big fan of.
Okay.
That being said, I think he will probably do the standard route this time. Start on the top side, the rip buff, then base, and then hit to the bottom side, try and gank the lane possibly.
How about
Yeah,
cracks? Yep.
For cracks, the response should be, I guess, a rival start. So you probably might want to look towards starting on the same side as the Gragas, and then we path down together to match Ice Destiny.
One thing you can do if you're on the Jarvan, though, I think Jarvan does have a bit more skirmish ability in the early game.
Right.
So
Invade.
that's one thing you can do. I think if, like you said, Ice Destiny has some funky pathing. If the Jarvan is there, he can actually try to punish that.
I think the Scuttle Crab is also going to be super important when we look into this matchup because giving topside Scuttle Crab over, or rather losing topside pressure for the Scuttle Crab is going to open up Kiwi 123 to play more aggressively. You can actually extend past the river if you do have the Scuttle Crab. All you have to do is just ward the Tri-Brush, right? And in the Aatrox versus Sion, it's up to Kiwi to kind of get the advantage because you are like the aggressor in that matchup. The opponent is just going to sit there, tank it up, be comfortable, taking the loss, lose the lane gracefully, but you have to win. You have to get the solo kill.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think if you're the Aatrox, I want to see this guy go up and
Like go
get
ham,
in-
right?
get into the Sion's face early.
Alright.
Try to find those kinds of advantages for his team.
If there's any player that can do it, it's going to be Yon. This guy is a prolific top laner. If you guys are curious about his Yasuo one-trick plays, just go and look at his Facebook page or the LST Spring last split, I think, where he got a game on Yasuo and he literally just hard carried his team, like 1v9,
You see, so now you're really hyping him up. So I'm hoping to see some really good action from him in this top lane. I believe the sport has reconnected, so we
Yay.
might just be getting ourselves in game really soon.
Yeah, this is the part where we cross our fingers and pray to God above that he doesn't disconnect again because I am pretty excited to see the second game and I can't stand waiting any longer. My patience is wearing thin, guys.
Yeah, me too. I mean, really excited. TP could really take this, or SP could have a strong showing. They could take a game back and bring us to a game 3.
I want
think
to
it's
ask you
possible.
this though, Adrat. You are
Yeah.
from NYP, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Earlier in the day, NYP did get a bye through. I think their opponents, Neon Polytechnic, didn't play the tournament. So now they are in the semis, right? They're going to
Yeah,
be
that's
playing
right.
against, I think, College West.
Yep.
If they do make it to the finals, who you rather prefer your opponent be? TP or SP?
Honestly, I think TP so that we can have a more exciting game. Oof.
Spicy?
Yeah,
Spicy?
Spicy.
I mean, so far TP has shown us that they can come back from games, and I think that's the most interesting thing to watch. No matter what poly you're from, no matter what you're supporting, you still want to see good League of Legends games.
Yeah, it does seem to be TP's modus operandi. Just fall behind early, say, don't worry guys, we got a late game. Just come back later and sweep everything home.
I don't think it's intentional that they're looking to fall behind the
Well-
early game, but sure, we'll classify it as that as of teams will be moving over to their buffs. So Tell a Lie will be Jarvan starting on the Rip buff, whereas Ice Destiny looks to be pathing down as well, I think.
Yeah.
A ward in the Raptor side for TP will give information over As Ice Destiny is going to be doing a delay start on his Wolf, so he's doing that eccentric pathing coming in.
All right, all right. Let's take a look at this. So he's going to take the wolves, and after that, he's going to move to the birds. The
Yeah, most
raptors?
likely you do Raptors after this
Okay.
when you get level 2. So you take QW, and then you move over and grab the next camp. I have to say I disapprove of this route because this gives you a weaker clear. If you get invaded upon, then you pretty much lose the side of the jungle that you didn't clear, right? And now he doesn't get his Predator boots that early either.
Well, luckily for him though,
It's warded.
it's actually warded.
Yeah. That means that Krex knows where he is. He can go and counter jungle him if he wants.
Yep, if he does actually go into that bot lane, I think it's going to be quite the free blue buff. But in fact, no pings actually came down, so it's a bit questionable as to whether or not
Yeah,
he
that was
was
just a
actually
ping.
spotted.
Yeah.
Prowling Projectile doing a good deal of damage onto the Xayah, and seems like my analysis
Ooh.
might be right. You know, the fact that Sivir actually deals pretty decently level 1 against the Xayah Rakan. In this case, the poke from Chiffon is amplifying the advantage that they get. The wave is already getting shoved up. You can see 3 caster minions to the Nun, and a new wave is coming in for SP.
That's right. Sivir always just pushing up with that ricochet constantly, just being an annoyance from level 1 all the way up. So definitely going to be seeing that wave shoving in constantly in the bot lane.
Yeah, and if you're the Xayah Rakan, you really can't do anything because Xayah's damage really comes from Blade Collar. If you can't pull back those feathers, you're not really able to put down any damage on the opposing laner.
Level 3 being hit by both mid laners, but this is
Ooh.
a AFK and farm lane. As we see Ice Destiny heading to the top
Spotted
side.
out. Pings are on him. Yon's just going to be a little safe. Krex hanging around with half of his health bar. He's just going to opt for the Scuttle Crab, and Ice Destiny's just going to recall and back away.
Ice Destiny did do the early base to pick up the boots, so he cleared the top side and a wolf camp. Now he's going to be heading to the bot side to clear the blue buff and Gromp, I believe. And like I said, because of his weird pathing, he's a bit late to gank the lane, right? He's one camp too late. And as a result, he doesn't hit the timing that he needs to get spotted out by the Jarvan.
It does seem a little unfortunate though. You take a look, TP's pushing up the top lane and the mid lane. So at this point, if you're Ice Destiny, I think if he went for those, he could really have gone for, you know, a bit of an early gank.
Well, he does opt to just go back for his Predator boots and go to his bot side. Clear out that blue buff that's been waiting for him and the Gromp as well. So what are the upsides of this eccentric pathing? I mean, there has to be something good about it, right?
I personally think it gives you a safer clear in the sense that if they invade you, they won't be able to read your path that well, because when you look at the camps and you count them and you measure it out, your opponents only get a educated guess at where you started, but they won't be able to find you because the pathing is so unique, right? The downside is that your timings are all completely off as well. So if the opponents follow their standard route, you're always going to be late. Sure, you might be able to counter gank, but if you're in a disadvantageous matchup, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, that's the questionable part, right? But obviously, Ice Destiny's here saying, hey, I think the trade-off is actually worth the safe clear. And so he goes for it, but now he's not able to find any sort of gank on the map.
This is what we expected in the bot lane. Looking at your screen, that the Sivir Yuumi is just going to be pressuring up, and now that ward in the Tri-Brush is almost going to spot Krex as he doubles back.
Didn't get spotted though. So they still don't have any idea where that Jarvan is since he's been seen top lane. And Ice Destiny, he's gonna reposition himself to get a better amount of vision. There are pings on him, so he is spotted out. He's gonna sweep out that ward.
I
So
like
pretty
what
safe.
the bot lane of TP did. They cheated the recall right here, so they know that they're going to get shoved in. They take a wave's loss and they just back off, buy up, and come back in slightly stronger. That's it. The Sivir is still staying in lane. She might be looking to base here to get her next set of items.
Yeah, if Sivir does decide to base here and get his next set of items, I think she will actually come back stronger. And if they try to go for a fight, I think Sivir might actually come out on top in the damage department.
Sivir picking up that BF sword. A little bit more expensive than that Caulfield's Warhammer. So she's gonna have more power. Level 6 is being hit as Krex shows up in top lane. Kiwi123 lands the first knockup, lands the chains as well. Oh, look at that. He's gonna be able to charge out of that one.
I love when they do that.
Oh,
Hold
wait,
on,
hold
mid
on,
lane.
because in mid lane, whoa. Shara taking really, really low by epistemology on the Nico.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you can do on Sion. We talked about Sherwin being able to absorb the pressure. Well, give him an unstoppable force charging out.
Yep.
He's just not gonna die.
I love it when they do that, you know, activate Unstoppable Onslaught. He shouts, oh, hold on, flashing in.
Whoa. Really, really angsty. Flashes in, doesn't actually get the damage down. And Shara didn't flash either, so technically could be counted as a win for the Corki.
A bit over-aggressive there in the mid lane epistemology, looking for the kill but no ignite, so will not be able to get it. Cheryl the Valkyrie managing to get out. For mid lane has been hyper-aggressive coming in from epistemology, but it's been paying off. A small CS lead has been accrued.
Well, it does seem like whatever epistemology decides to play, he's just gonna keep poking you and looking for little skirmishes.
Look on your mini-map, the jungler for SP, Ice Destiny, has already sneakily started up the dragon, and this is a
That's right.
premier dragon. I mean, overall, objective-wise, you want to claim that as early as possible. I think it is the mountain that will go the way of SP soon.
Yep, teleports were both used on the mid laners, so Corki and Nico both have no TP. But if the dragon is snuck away, then they might not exactly really need that one.
Oh no,
Looks
it's
like
going to be an
free will
Ocean
at
Drake.
stake.
Oh, it's
Sorry.
Ocean
Yeah.
Drake.
Also pretty good early though.
Damage
It's
coming in the
roll,
top
look at
side.
that. Yeah. Kiwi123 really showing up, really proving you right on your claims earlier about just how good he is.
And he took that trade with a massive wave shoving in as well. So what he can do now is he can freeze the wave there if he wanted to and force Sherwin to put himself in a dangerous position if he wants the CS.
Across the board though, we do see that most of the people, like nobody wants to fight. Nobody wants to look for those skirmishes except maybe epistemology, but that's just how he plays, I guess.
Sneaking in, swapping to the Aatrox disguise, as it were. Will be spotted out by the ward there.
Ooh,
This is
missed
quite an
that.
interesting fake out here because it. Oh, never mind.
Yep, forget about that. He's just gonna poke him.
Yeah.
Yep. Forget about faking out anybody.
I don't think you're going to be able to catch anyone out of those fakes.
Look at
Since
that.
Aatrox is actually showing top lane, so
Yep, correct. Just gonna take that one away. Ice Destiny.
Has to be very careful here.
Yeah, exactly. He's just gonna walk out. Crax is gonna take that blast cone. He's gonna back away as well. Oh, but we have a fight in the bot lane. Enner being jumped on, dropped solo, forced to flash away. He's gonna live with a sliver of health. I believe that's because of the Yumi's heal, barely keeping him alive.
yeah, it was a very good engage from Rakan picking up the Sivir. But at the end of the day, Iron Nitrogen wasn't able to get the damage down. Blade Caller did not connect. And so SP's bot lane just runs away.
Managing to get out, uses 2 summoner spells in trade of 1. Meanwhile, Craig's coming in the top side. Unstoppable Onslaught being
That's
used already.
right.
Here comes the
And
Cataclysm
whoa,
to lock it
Cataclysm
in.
he stops it. Now Kiwi123 gonna try to find a way in. Cataclysm collapses and he's gonna surely be able to pick up first blood here. Sherwin using all the potions. Crax is gonna take that one. First blood over for TP.
Oh, that was a massive play from Craig's, using the terrain building skill of the Cataclysm to lock him in and say, you're not going anywhere, that's first blood for me. And now TP put themselves on the board and escalate the goal lead by a solid 1,000.
And you did predict that, right? You said Krax was actually going to go to top lane, get Kiwi a hit. And I think so far he's been very successful at doing that. They even get a few turret plating for
Ooh.
their efforts.
Hold that because I believe Predator boots were used at bot lane. Interestingly enough, Ice Destiny thought that they may have been recalling there. A little cheeky move from him, not gonna find anything.
But in that situation where you do find members there, it's a worst case scenario because then they could probably turn on Ice Destiny. I think the jungle of SP right now just making some questionable decisions coming in.
He's gonna be hanging around
Yep.
mid lane. Might just look for that gank. But he's just gonna clear out the birds. I believe he's gonna walk away on this one.
He's going to get spotted by a crown, maybe?
No.
Oh,
yep, there we
right,
go.
there you
Spotted
go.
out.
He tells the future, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, right now, I think we're talking about Ice Destiny. We wanted him to do a bit more ganking across the map. I don't think he's been accomplishing that very well. All we've seen of him is just his strange farming.
Right.
And more strange farming and more strange farming. So what I want to see from him is going for a bit more ganks.
Moves over to the top side. He's got no minions there. I believe they're gonna bump up. They're moving up all 5
Oh,
people.
man.
They're just gonna really, really take this with health. They really
Okay.
want this. And we see the pings from SP on their way. I believe they might be poking out, trying to look for a fight, trying to look for a way to get them off
Right,
this
but
Rift
look at
Herald.
this. This is an objective trade, right? There are 3 members on the Rift Herald. It's a tempo play. They want to sacrifice the early advantage to be able to convert into a turret later on. But TP are already knowledgeable about this take. They might be looking to tunnel down on this. Instead, it's going to be Rift Herald captured. And like Chufan US described, tempo play,
Yep.
you lose a lot of pressure in the bottom side. But in the later stages of the game, when you approach that point where you can use the Rift Herald, you get a bit more pressure there.
I don't think you're actually going to be able to use Rift Herald here very effectively, though. I think TP has shown that they can actually move across the map. They know where the Herald's going to be. You're not going to be able to use it on their tower. And in exchange, you actually do get first turret. So that is a lot of gold. About 3k over the TP now.
But overall, this, as we can see, the goal puts the bot lane of Iron Nitrogen and DLE ahead. Hold on.
Yep, hold that because Krax has jumped straight in onto Enter. Enter trapped in the Cataclysm. Here comes Kiwi123 over that wall. He's going to take Enter down. And now there's a cat. That's a free kill pretty much. Ice Destiny body slamming in, but it's a bit too late for that. He's really, really squishy. A beautiful dodge by Iron Nitrogen. Ice Destiny's barely going to make it out alive. Krax still on the chase. He's dropping lower and lower. Forced to flash low, but Kiwi jumping straight over. And Shira's forced to run. Now Sherwin in a bit of a spot as well. He's gotten rooted up. He has to flash as well. Huge, huge wins for TP.
Oh man, I wish we had a slow-mo replay of that because Kiwi just leaps for it, dunks the jungler down, and now they get access to top tier 1. SP shouldn't be staying here. This is a bad decision.
Not even over. Shira is solo. Surely going to fall. Ignited up by the Rakan, I believe. Meanwhile, Krax actually falling to the dive. iNitrogen will pick up the Corki, and Sherwin now is a Scion that's really, really low, trapped under this turret. He's going to try to do his best to live, and nope, Kiwi just takes him down.
That was a bad, bad call, staying under the turret, and now they get 2 free kills. Sure, you trade over to the jungler, but you know what? I take that any day. They get mid-tier, top tier 1.
And once again, we see SP's interesting map movements. I think if you were that bot lane, you should not have been up on that lane that far. And even after that fight, after those TPs that weren't very good.
Let's take a look at this replay, and Kiwi getting the first one gives him the reset to get a speed boost, gets the second, right? At this point, the unstoppable onslaught completely whiffs, goes through the post, and they have to full disengage.
Yeah, nice.
Singapore Polytechnic, no reason to stay around, and look at this right here, the dunk coming in from the Aatrox. Picture perfect.
Dunk. Yep, there we go. Oh, it's not slow motion, but that's fine.
We just see a bit of a cleanup here coming in from TP.
Yep, and
Dragon though.
Yeah.
We're on live now as we see the Dragon being taken away by Singapore Polytechnic. A brief respite, at least they get an objective in trade, but the gold is not looking healthy at all, boys. 5k in favor of TP.
But we have discussed earlier that, you know, SP, they want to play for the late game. So I think if they are able to just stem the bleeding a little bit, go for more CS, I think they still have a chance of coming back, definitely.
Have to make sure the deficit doesn't open up anymore as a plan here for SP. Silver late game insurance, you think it's still on the cards? Or has the ship sailed already?
Well, the ship is still in port, I think. Well, the thing is about Sivir, I think she needs a little bit more to get going than the Kai'Sa. So I think instead of what happened last game, I think SP needs to delay TP's onslaught a lot longer than what we saw last game.
6,000 gold is now the amount that separates TP and SP. 14 minutes in the game. SP still holding on to that Rift Herald. They'll definitely try to find an opportunity to use that. They traded it for the first turret just now.
Now, cast your mind back to game 1. It was SP that came out of the early game with a massive lead. This time TP turning the tables on their opponents, and they look like they're in a comfortable spot. They know how to play out this lead. Moving around the map, extending their advantages and clearing the waves out. You can see items, big ticket items as well, being picked up by multiple members of TP, whereas it's the garage sale items for SP. Chunks and bits and pieces all across.
Yeah, take a look at this though. The Rift Herald's on Gragas, and he was forced to waste it at a top lane. So in the end, you lost your bot lane tower for the Rift Herald, and you don't put it down to any good use. So that was really waste of tempo.
Now you have to think, is that, hold on.
Wait, hold on, because Shira's just going to go in for a solo kill. Actually, he's just going to trade ultimate for the package.
Turns out Pop Blossom is a pretty good defensive tool. Forces him away. The pressure's on the mid-tier 1. Zaya Rakan, the lovers duo, pushing down and getting a wave up.
Yep, Shira's going to try to make the best use of this Rift Herald. Probably going to try to get at least one charge in. SP looking to make moves, but they're unable to find anything at the moment.
You have to be careful. They're waiting inside the jungle. There are a lot of pings down. There's not a lot of vision, though, to speak of in SP's jungle.
Hey, Rift Herald gets a charge, I guess. That's something. It's not much, but it's something.
Fair enough. It's honest work. In mid lane, Enner and Chiffon on the Yumi are going to be holding that one out. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, you can see Yon really doing so much to Sherwin.
This is such a bad side lane matchup now that Yon is so far ahead. Hold on, top side once
Pop
more.
Blossom again, I feels like just used it, but this time Corki's not going to jump away, dropping really, really low. Might this be a solo kill?
Oh,
Oh
the
boy,
jukes.
turns golden, and there we go, shut down on Shira. 500 gold.
Solo kill coming in from the mid lane of SP saying we're not out of this one just yet. We can claw our way back in as the support comes up. Meanwhile, Cataclysm.
Whoa, no, Ice Destiny is still trapped in Cataclysm, channels that up, turns golden again. I'm not exactly sure how he's going to get out this one. Gets knocked up and knocked up one more time. Yon unstoppable on that Aatrox.
Gerard, you said you're not sure how he's going to get out. The answer is he will not. And the stopwatch may be a bit of a poor call coming in. He was dead on from the get-go. I don't think he should have wasted such a crucial ultimate coming in. Well, not ultimate, but a item.
I think his ultimate though was actually on point. I think the idea was right. It's just really unfortunate that Jarvan was actually pressed up against the wall and so didn't get knocked out.
If you're Yo now, you have the time of your life on the bot side. I think the next item to go for is the Death Dance to make sure that you can keep your sustain up in the side lane. Death Dance, of course, has that very
Your profit, there we go.
a very beneficial effect of reducing burst damage coming in, right? And that's what Corki wants to do. That's what they kind of want to do in these fights as well.
Yeah, at the very least, Sion actually has one defensive item, the Sunfire Cape. It's not going to do much though. He is significantly behind. Take a look at the CS lead. That's just very unfortunate for him.
But the Sunfire Cape going up against the Aatrox is like a ship, like a sampan in a storm. There's nothing it can do to deflect the aggression coming in.
Yeah, man, Ice Destiny standing far forward, getting knocked up and knocked up again, charmed up. All the CC on him just goes down instantly. A little bit of a change back from Enen. Trying to get a bit of damage onto the Rakan, but a 1-for-nothing trade and the tower as well.
And that's the layering damage that we see coming into action. We see Krex jumping in, followed up by the Rakan, and we just keep piling on the damage until everyone at SP is dead.
And you have to attribute the blame a little bit to Ice Destiny right there. You have to ask him, what were you doing in that position when there was no one to defend with you? Turret was almost certain to fall. Your AD carry users on the hunt defensively, and you're still staying way past the line of defense. I think that was a bad call coming in from the jungle of SP.
Another factor of that is I think they should have put down a little bit more vision, focus a little bit more on the vision game. Take a look at their jungle. It's actually pretty dark. There's a controller from TP in that bush, so that denies a lot of vision. I think that's something that SP should work on, put a bit more wards in your territory.
I want to draw your attention to the gold leads because our boy Yon in the top lane, he's 3,000 gold
baby.
ahead of Sherwood. That is a huge, huge, huge lead.
You hate to see that if you're playing a tank, because the reason you picked the Sion in the first place is sort of to absorb the pressure coming in from the Aatrox, but now you're 3k gold behind. Like I said, Sampan in a storm, there's nothing much you can do to withstand the pressure, and you pretty much lose in the side waves 100% of the time.
And here's the question then. The Aatrox is 5-0 and 1. What do you
wait,
then do
hold on,
against it?
because he's gonna get himself into a 1v3. Has to pop the ultimate to get out. This one, oh no, Ice Destiny whiffing everything on that one.
And now they absorb so much pressure here because 3 people commit to the top side, a flash, 2 ultimates as well. This opens up the bot lane, opens up the mid lane for them to just push the waves out, buy some space in their jungle, get vision down, and maintain control of their lead.
Right. We have to put a blame on Ice Destiny a little bit here. The Aatrox is under his tower. What are you doing chasing after him and trying to use your ultimate? That just will not happen.
Best case scenario, you knock him back, you're then fighting under turret
Yep.
against the Aatrox
Yep.
with Death Dance. That is gonna heal up. I don't like the odds behind that trade.
Like you said, emotional player. Now 0-3 and 0. I think he might be feeling the pressure to make some plays for his team.
And it might seem like we're overly criticizing Ice Destiny. We're like we're attributing too much blame to him. Like we're almost picking him apart by his faults. It has to be maintained though that Ice Destiny is the core player for this team. You know, for the large part of any team that he's built around, the main shot caller and the most vocal player isn't performing to his ultimate capabilities right now.
That's right, that's not something that you want to be doing. But I'd also like to sing some praise to Krex, 1-1 and 7 on the Jarvan. Making that early impact, really being the one to help Yon get that snowball, get that lead, that 5-0 and 1 on the Aatrox.
Yeah, one criticism that I really had on Jarvan's in the group stage was that they weren't looking for those early advantages. And what Krex is doing here is constantly ganking for his team, and that is something that deserves praising.
TP now in a super commanding position, 8k gold ahead. Seemingly as though they want to confirm their spot in the finals tomorrow. I don't think SP are out of this yet. We were talking about the late game insurance of the Silver. She's now building towards her Infinity Edge, and that 2 item spike might just be what SP needs to tide over this hump in the mid game.
Yep. Baron is up, and that will be the next objective. Both teams are trying to get their vision control. Ice Destiny gonna be able to place a control ward. Throw out a barrel, spots out 3. I don't know if he wants to still
Yeah.
stay there, honestly.
If you're the jungle right now, you just turn tail and run, because there is no reason for you to stay in a position where the enemy can just catch you over the wall. They're so mobile, they have so many tools to CC you up. This is being greedy by walking forward.
Yeah, and thanks to the observers earlier for showing us the vision discrepancy. SP really can't see anything in the jungle right now. I think they're playing a little too forward and risk being caught out.
And once again in the bot lane, Yon doing his thing. He's gonna drop Sherwin to slightly above 1,000 health, but the 2-level advantage. Something's going on here because Predator has been channeled.
Getting a bit of a deja vu here from the previous game. You can see it's almost reminiscent of how Ice Destiny was setting the trap in game 1, but this time it's TP, the ones that have laid this trap, and they have started the Baron, and they want this objective so badly.
That's right. Teleports are up for both top laners who are hanging out in the bot lane at the moment. They're just gonna peel off Baron. Ice Destiny gonna probably walk in and get some vision back again.
And to be honest, I think pulling off Baron was the right call. You know that Yon in the bot lane, Kiwi123, has the full advantage over the Sion. He's just gonna, it's a matter of time up till he gets the bot tier 2. So you don't have to make any risky 50-50 plays. Just hold your position and wait for that Aatrox to come online and take that turret down.
Definitely the right call. I think there weren't any objectives to take on the map, so I think trying to maybe cheekily force a Baron was the correct call. They even backed off when they saw that SP knew what they were trying to do. But now we do see Dragon coming up, though I think TP might actually try to go for that instead.
Dragon, as you mentioned, will be up soon as SP focusing a lot of tension still on the top side. One thing I want to point out is that there is a huge amount of danger in this jungle if you are SP, because there's so many tools that TP have in these chokes that you really don't want to play against. The Top Blossom as well as the Cataclysm, and not to mention the damage from the Aatrox. If you all bunch up, it's just a nightmare to deal with.
Exactly.
Yep, they have actually put down a few wards in that topside jungle, but I still don't think it's safe to wander past your red buff. And look, that control wall they had in that small bush there, it's gone.
Yeah, TP really just with that commanding lead, able to just walk in nearly fearless. Just clear out that vision, place their own control wards. Dragon is coming up really soon. It's a mountain dragon, so both teams definitely want to go for that, though I think that TP has enough priority to take that one.
Yeah, Mountain Dragon for TP is going to be very impactful. Obviously, a very good Drake to have when you're hit, allows you to siege those towers and even the Baron so much faster.
It also equalizes the stats here because they both have one ocean and one mountain each. It pretty much nullifies any advantage that those objectives give to your opponent.
Let's be real, SP isn't using that Dragon.
Yeah, not anytime soon, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Infinity Edge finally completed for the AD carry of SP. This might be the moment where the Sivir comes online.
Corki as well will be completing his Essence Reverse soon, by the looks of it. So there's a time for SP to try and fight back. It will be really soon.
Oh, it just completed Essence Reaver as you mentioned it. So 2 item spikes for the AD carries on SP mid lane and AD carry rather.
TP still with a really big lead though. 3 items I believe on most of their champions. On their mid laner I mean.
You have to be very careful with the jungle here because the Twin Shadows on the Nico makes it so much more difficult to check in these chokes because coupled with the Glacial Augment, if you stack up, the slow is going to be devastating and it's going to allow cracks to just jump on your back line.
Yeah, SP understands that.
Oh, Ice Destiny, you are standing too far forward. Gets flash on Charmed Up, but he's actually staying alive. Package coming in for Shera. Explosive Class actually taking down the Rakan, and that's one falling. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Yon taking out the tower. Cracks barely staying alive on that one. SP coming out on top.
TP overreaching a bit, trying to make the pick happen there. When they couldn't get the kill on Ice Destiny, there was the moment for SP to just turn the fight around and convert on the support. However, like you mentioned, they get bot tier 2, opens the map up a bit more. In my opinion, I think that was a worthwhile trade, and although it does alleviate the pressure around this pit, bot lane, the Sion is in a world of pain now.
Yeah, hey TP, you spend so much time setting up that vision, but you don't have it that deep in the enemy jungle. You should not be stepping up that far. And now with SP, they have a bit of breathing room. Maybe they should go into that topside jungle and clear a bit of TP's wards.
Clearing wards, definitely a priority coming in. I have to agree with you.
Aatrox now with the Guardian Angel.
Oh man,
This guy's not gonna die.
he's
Yeah.
not
Not
dying
gonna die.
anytime soon. This is pre-revert Aatrox, where you actually still have the revive now and you have the healing. It's the best of both worlds.
That's right, Ice Destiny. Gonna show how much damage he can do.
Oh
Constantly,
man,
I always see him standing at this red buff, clearing out ward after
fool
ward.
me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Ice Destiny just hovering here, not necessarily the smartest idea.
Yep. This is going to be a very risky Baron if TP is going to try to take it, because I think they are actually positioning to try. Because if you take a look at SP, they're all actually pathing towards it, and they do start it up.
There's a ward inside though. They have full information of this, but it's going down so quickly. A teleport coming in.
Teleport's
Oh.
coming in from Sherwin. Will Ice Destiny be able to make it over the wall? No, smite away by Krex. Now everyone is running away from SP and Krex chasing over the wall. Ice Destiny forced to flash away. It looks like that brick wall that we're talking about will just fall as if it's nothing. Now Shera's forced to Valkyrie over. Kiwi123 taken down low, but it doesn't matter because he's a Guardian Angel. He's not even gonna get that popped.
When
TP.
Yon joins the fight, it's game over. And now they get the Baron. Now they get the kills. They're looking to close this one out. Iron Nitrogen sticking around, clearing out the vision. Doesn't even feel threatened at this point.
That's right. Ice Destiny level 10 compared to Krex level 13. He's really falling behind. Even his support Yumi is a higher level.
And we've seen what TP is able to do once they have that Baron. They know where they have to be to push down those objectives. And now that they do have that Baron, I don't think SP has much more time to live.
Compared to game one, I keep saying this. The Baron play around Fog of War. This time TP are so much more confident that they can burst down the objective and they finish it, they switch the fight over instantly like that. And now they convert their advantage even further.
Once again, we see TP pushing their advantages. Once they get it, they know exactly what to do. And right now, if you're SP, you're just really waiting for TP to slip up and make some mistakes. Oh, we haven't actually seen that happen just
Oh,
yet.
there is some good news in the mail for SP because they do have the Sivir, the wave clear. It's still pretty decent in at least one lane.
Okay.
The other lane with the Corki is going to function as a wave clear machine as well. But then the bad news also arrives, and who's going to be dealing with this Aatrox, right? Who is up to task to play against Yon in the side lane?
Exactly, and look at this. Teleport straight in from the mid, from actually the AD carry, and Sherwin, he's a tanky Scion, but that doesn't really matter. He's popped so low, forced to use that stopwatch.
That's a tough call coming in. They all in onto the Scion who has to burn his stopwatch, and now this is a window where TP can actually look to re-engage if they want to, because guess what? Cataclysm is available and so is Pop Blossom.
Look at the minimap though, I really like this. TP
Oh,
understands.
wait, hold on, because Ice Destiny just got
See you,
popped.
buddy. Oh, man.
I was gonna say that TP knew that they could take a fight 4v5, and they just did. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Aatrox is just gonna try to push down that tower.
Do you remember we had this joke in the group stages about how if Gragas falls behind and he dies, you could actually audibly hear
Yeah.
the pop going off as he dies?
I think we're gonna be hearing that pop a lot more today.
Yeah.
man.
Maybe not, because the game might be over before
Good
that
point.
can happen again. Yeah, Ice Destiny still yet to pick up an item other than
Oh,
jungle item by
wow.
Whoa, look at that engage, and Nitrogen just unstoppable, doing so much damage on the Zaya, just uses the ultimate as a defensive tool. Meanwhile, Kiwi123 gonna jump in, become that front line Aatrox, that monster that we were talking about, as TP looks to close out the game. You're gonna move over to mid lane turret. Krex is gonna try to jump onto Enter, but oh my goodness, look at that. Nitrogen just doing so much damage, just putting out all the DPS. Is picked up, but it does pick up Enter as well. Now Chiffon, a very sad Yumi under the tower, surely gonna fall. No, actually they walk away and say we're gonna go for the game. Instead, Sherwin goes down as well, and it looks like TP will probably clench.
KDA.
Take this one out. Oh, and there we
Portal
go.
combat.
One more kill onto that Yumi, and it looks like TP will be able to take this game away.
Staring down the barrel of a victory. TP now looking to confirm their position in the finals tomorrow in the best of 5. Enner is out of here, ladies and gentlemen. It's Temasek Polytechnic, the winners from last year, trolling a little, but find an easy 2-0 on Saturday.
Well, we said SP had to look for some mistakes, and TP was just not gonna give it to him.
I have to say, super dominant performance coming
Yep.
from TP. As a alumni, I feel my heart weighs heavy just a little bit,
It's all
but
good.
TP, they earned the spot. They really did.
Yeah, I'm sure True Fan inside his heart, he's like, yes.
I mean,
Unfortunately. Now looking forward, finding themselves already clinching that spot. They will have to see whether they're up against NYP and ITE College West. And they do have the advantage of scouting out both opponents right now, because ITE College West, I think, and NYP will be playing later on. And it's up to TP to kind of scout out their opponents.
yeah.
That's right, but that does bring us to the conclusion of this group stage. Am I
Yeah.
right? I mean, sorry, group stage semifinal
Semifinals.
between
Take a breather,
TP
man. It's
and
cool. It's
SP.
cool.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
last fight was really, really tiring.
Yeah.
But yeah, that does bring us to the conclusion of that. TP does take away
Right.
that win. SP will unfortunately drop out.
Bow
But
out of the tournament.
yeah, but they did put up a good fight, definitely.
Decent fight, and to remind our viewers and anyone here at the Campus Game Fest, the finals will be on tomorrow. It's a best of 5, I believe. We go live at 4 p.m. here at the Singapore Indoor Stadium. Come down to cheer for your fellow schoolmates and your friends. It's going to be an exciting day of League of Legends. But for now, guys, we're going to toss it over to our MC, I believe. That's going to be it for us here at the Casters Desk. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow, guys.